there. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on with me, uh, and what are some of the things I'm working on into handling this crisis. In other videos and also my blog, I've talked about some of the stresses that I've had that other people have had in terms of, my work has sort of dried up. So there's financial considerations, which, my goodness, a lot of people are suffering through that. A lot of relationships have been broken, and because distance we have to maintain, we're worried about the economy. But we have something special going on in our household. Uh, my wife has tested positive for the virus. So this is something that started a couple weeks ago, actually. My wife was. First of all, let me just say that she's fine. I mean that she's fine and she's doing better. So I don't want to, alarm anybody. But I think this is sort of a unique experience that a lot of people are going to be probably having to face. So she had been on a ski trip uh, and was in close quarters with a lot of young people, and more or less everybody that she was in contact with there had gotten sick. And when she came home, she wasn't feeling well, went to the doctor, and perhaps was misdiagnosed or maybe didn't have enough symptoms at the time. And they said, you've just got, a touch of, but she continued to get worse. She became feverish and just really couldn't move out of her bed. Had fever for at least, I think, 12 days, maybe 12, maybe 14 days. Couldn't really get out of bed or get off the couch. She would sleep maybe 14, 15 hours a day. And so now we also had been very careful. Even when she was just feeling sick for the first time, we started sort of doing, social distancing. Basically, I have not been within 6 feet of my wife for more than 2 weeks now. We've been in separate bedrooms. We've been using separate bathrooms. When we suspected that she might have the virus, we had routines in terms of handling food and handling dishes and sanitizing things. So, we've been careful all along. I have an office that's outside. That's a different building. I've been outside a lot, so I've had space where I can literally get out of the infected environment. Um, so her health continued to get worse, and then she was able to get tested and tested positive for the coronavirus. So as I said, if you're just coming on, my wife has the coronavirus, but she's over the hump. She's doing fine. She was very, very pale. She's looking better. She's eating better. She was vertical yesterday. She didn't have a fever. So now, what about, in terms of me? What's going on? So also, I want to confirm that I'm fine. I feel fine. I have not been symptomatic. We've been as careful as I can possibly be. We've tried to maintain our distance. We've tried to be careful. We've tried to be conservative. And that doesn't mean that I don't have it. I know that. That doesn't mean that I can't take it to, I can't be a carrier to others. And so the official response now from the medical community, from our doctors, is that 72 hours after her last fever, she would be considered non-contagious. And by the way, I have to mention Dr. Eyes on here again today, and she's going to be monitoring for your questions. I do want to talk about, how this, what I'm learning and how this actually could impact you. So if you do have questions, she'll pass those along. I know there's a lot of people on here who are my friends who care about me, and I, know that there's some comments on here already about, support. But if you do have questions, I'll try to answer your questions as best I can. So basically, I'm officially cleaned for the next 14 days. I mean, basically, her period of 72 hours without a fever is sort of today. So I'll be quarantined the next 14. And again, I feel fine. I've been out doing heavy work in the yard. I feel strong. I recognize that I am sort of vulnerable because I do have a propensity for respiratory infections. I am at an age where I'm, more vulnerable than other people. Now, I was in February, I had type A flu. I had type A flu, and I went through that. So I'm wondering, I'm not really sure, maybe the antibodies that, my immune system geared up to beat the flu, maybe that's helped me with coronavirus. I don't know. But I've been in a highly contagious environment for about 2 weeks. And right now, thank the Lord, my wife is feeling better. I'm right now feeling fine. If anything changes, I'll post something. I'll let you know. Maybe the next video I do will be bed with a fever. That would be a first. We can keep our humor here. But anyway, I'm doing good. So I want to talk about, we've talked about the different stresses and some of the strategies in terms of dealing with stress, anxiety, and uncertainty in this period. And I wanted to tell you how, I've been sort of trying to take my own advice. I mean, you just thought I was creating this content for you. No, I've been creating this content for me because I've got to figure out how to deal with, stress, anxiety, and uncertainty as well. And one of the things we talked about in the last episode is this idea that they have to let go of the what ifs, right? So, I could drive myself crazy just thinking about what happens. What if I get it? What if I get it? What if I get it? The most terrifying thing to me in this is, my wife was sick with the coronavirus. She basically couldn't really be vertical for days at a time. What if I would get it at the same time? Take care of us. So that was a big concern, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen. So that worked. That worked for me. Another thing that I talked about last time is focusing on what is known. What are the facts? So I've been reading a lot. I've been, piecing things together, and I'm only making decisions based on what I know, what is tangible, what is real, what is knowable. I'm not thinking about, scenarios. So that's helped a lot. The other thing that's helped me a lot is focusing on positive thoughts and taking positive actions, okay? So we talked about, there's a lot of research surrounding this. Positive thoughts, positive actions, that influences your environment. That influences other people as well. So if you can just focus on some positive things, that helps your environment. That releases a lot of positive things in your body and your brain. For me, I could focus on the fact that I feel strong, that I'm well. In this moment, I can't think about what's going to happen tomorrow or next week, but right now, I'm strong, I'm well, I'm healthy, I'm exercising out in the yard, I'm doing heavy yard work, right? That's a real positive. I can embrace that. I've taken positive actions by creating content like this, right? That's something positive. When I'm creating content, when I'm working out in the yard, I don't think about all these other things, right? So focusing on positive steps, positive ideas, helped a lot. The other thing some of you may know is I've been doing some watercolor painting. So I thought, how can I use watercolor to, how can I help people? So I've been creating some watercolor paintings for people who are suffering right now. And that's another positive activity. I'm doing something using my skills to help other people. Now, I can't go to the post office to mail these things because I'm quarantined. Someday, these people will get these watercolor paintings and it'll make them feel good. So, that's sort of the positive things that have been going on. If you're just joining, what I was talking about is that my wife is very ill. She did test positive on virus, but she's better. She's doing better, okay? And so I have not shown symptoms. I've got 14 more days quarantine right now. Hopefully, I can get out of the woods, but, we'll just take it day by day. Now, the one thing that hasn't worked for me is subconscious worry, subconscious thoughts. And that's been pressing on me at night, right? So I'll wake up in the middle of the night and, this terror feeling about, my wife is sick. What if I get sick at the same time? And I can't take care of her and we can't take care of each other. What? Because you just read the horror stories on the internet about how sick people get. And so that's been a problem. I haven't been able to figure that out other than, drugging myself, which I haven't really done. I don't really like taking pills. I like being sort of a natural, organic kind of person, generally speaking. But I think generally I'm getting through the stress and anxiety pretty well. And again, we're all experiencing a lot, and we have to pay attention to this day by day by day, maybe hour by hour by hour, that this stuff is going to build up in us, right? It's going to start showing up in unexpected ways. So we have to be aware, and we have to take control of what we're feeling. Right? You can feel what you feel, but you have to choose what you do, because as this stress builds up, you could have negative reactions to your children, negative reactions that come out to your spouse, negative reactions that come out at work. So you've got to be aware of this, because as you know, this isn't going away tomorrow. We're in for, I'm talking about, at least America right now, and in many other parts of the world as well. I mean, we've got weeks and weeks ahead of us where this stress is just going to be building. So just don't take it for granted that the building in you. So that's really all I had to say today for me about some of the, things. I just felt it was time to, talk about this other thing that's going on in my life. I just thought it was time to share that with you, and also use that as a teaching moment to let you know what's been working for me and what hasn't been working for me, and also to let you know that I'm aware of this. I've got to be realistic, and I've got to be fighting through the potential problems of stress and anxiety every day, and keep working toward a new normal every day. And I want all of you to do that as well. So, I'll check. Dr. I's been sending me messages here. I'll see if we've got any questions that I can take for you. But I will also ask you, I think this is the episode that we've done. I want to ask you for help on something. So one of the things that keeps me positive, one of the positive decisions I've made and the positive actions that I've taken, is to create content like this that helps you. I'll tell you a little story. Many years ago, I was going through a terrible, stressful period in my life. It was the worst time of my life, and my blood pressure got so high that my doctor said, you need to measure your blood pressure every hour of the day. That's how, precocious or not precocious, the wrong word. That's how tentative maybe my health was at the time. And there was 1 hour every day my blood pressure was normal. And that was the hour I was blogging. So the act of writing, the act of creating content, for me, everything else sort of fade. So if there are things I can be creating for you, if I can, give me your ideas, how can I be helping you through my content? I know that sounds weird, but when I create content to help you, that helps me. You can help me is to send me your ideas. What do you want me to talk about on the next Facebook Live that I do? What do you want me to talk about on my blog? How can I be creating content that serves you? I'm a teacher. That's my purpose. If I can do something that's teaching you, that's going to keep me centered. That's going to create structure in the day. Okay, so let's see. Just a couple questions here. I know this is sort of a weird session. A lot of nice comments from people, but let's see. So Vicky asks me, did your wife recover at home or did she go to the hospital? She did recover at home. We were very, very fortunate. She really didn't. She had, let's put it this way, she had severe discomfort, but nothing that would have alarmed us, nothing that was serious enough to go to the hospital. And I also want to mention that we took advantage of a drive-through testing facility here in our county. So that was set up by a local hospital. So we were very, very fortunate, and we took advantage of that. And because of the pressure on the system, we actually didn't get the results for, I think it was 2 days, two and a half days. So that did take some time. So let's see. John Ferrara, hey John, says recessions are the best time to start ventures. Disruption creates opportunities. Well, it's hard to focus on that sometimes, but it is absolutely true. And if you look at some of the amazing innovation that's going on right now, I watched some news last night where they were interviewing the general from the Army Corps of Engineers, and he was talking about how they were building these temporary hospitals inside convention centers, creating a hospital 3,000 beds, in a couple of days, and how the inventiveness and the resourcefulness and the determination that went into that. It's just like, wow, that is just so impressive. It's so impressive. And now they have this model, and they're taking it to Chicago, and they're taking it to, right? And there's millions of things like that going on right now that are creating new opportunities for people, new business models. Look, who is supplying, these modular structures for these hospitals, right? So there's a lot. There's a lot of opportunity. I agree. Just a lot of nice comments here. Rachel says, I love that you're focusing on taking this time to create instead of stress. Look, there's good stress and there's bad stress. We're all facing, and it's weird to use the word all, but I really think I can. 99% of us, at least, are facing bad stress. I mean, toxic stress. And so we've got to really be aware of this. We've got to take care of ourselves and our loved ones every day. and just be aware that this stress is building up inside us. Maybe that'll be the next topic I talk about is this accumulation of stress. It's going to have an impact on us and our families and our communities and our cities and the world. It is toxic, and people are going to explode. And there's going to be some, you know, I'm concerned that gun sales are so high right now. So anyway, there's been lots of support, a lot of great comments on here. I don't want to take up any more of your time. As when I was in journalism school, my teacher always taught us. They said, "Get what it's worth. Don't make your content too short. Don't make your content too long. Don't force it." As you know, I'm not a fluff kind of guy. I don't add a lot of fluff. And so I think our episode is over for today. So first of all, thank you so much, for spending time with me and taking your time to consume this content. If it does help you, share it with others. I mean, that's what I want to do. I want to help people. And if this is helping you, share these videos with others, and maybe I can touch them in some positive way. So thank you so much, everyone. And, I'll plan to do this again on, I'm trying to do it on Tuesdays and Fridays at 10 a.m. That's the plan right now. And take care, be safe, be well, and dispense hope.